Property inspections. 10 things to watch for buyers and sellers inspections. In this red hot market, people do $1 million in overbidding. They take away all contingencies and they even skip inspections. It is totally against the buyer's interest to skip inspections. Watch this video. Hi, I'm Amol Heda, helping you define your real estate solution. I'm with Keller Williams in Saratoga and author of Thriving Through Ownership. In this not red hot but white hot market, people go non-contingent. They write offers with literally $1 million over asking. In some cases, the builders take away any liberty to choose a lender. So we are hearing all sorts of quirkiness in this tight buyer's market, an extreme seller's market. And what also happens is that, say you have even a foundation crack and it's going to cost you $25,000. Here in the Silicon Valley, in the Santa Clara County, the average price is about $2.4 million. How much does that $24,000, $25,000 problem come to? Just 1% of the total price. It's not worth even fighting when we are representing buyers and there is so much competition that someone else with a full cash is willing to sweep this property out of our hands. So it's very difficult to keep contingencies in place, but yet it is extremely important that buyers do inspections. And me, for one, I never skip inspections on any of my transactions. I literally say that you will have to write a waiver of inspection form, you'll have to sign on it to not do inspections. What a waiver of inspection form means is that the buyer is taking the responsibility for any issues that might arise afterwards, after closing the transaction or during the transaction. So with that, let me get into the details of this. Number one, vet your inspectors. Get your list from multiple sources, including your trusted realtor. Your trusted realtor should be the first person to go, but you should check with your friends and get reports. Thankfully, there is online reviews that you can use. Number two, when you are working with these inspectors, check how much time they have. How many inspections do they do each day? And also try to see as to how they are licensed or associated with one of the certification organizations. Thankfully, there are two organizations, NACHI, National Association of Certified Home Inspectors, and INTERNACHI, International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. ASHI and NACHI. ASHI is the American Institute of Certified Home Inspectors. So they have reporting standards and they have standards for the property inspection process. Next, when you're choosing an inspector, a lot of times some of the states do not have licensing requirements for inspectors. And so, not that the license means a gold standard, but having a license establishes the minimum possible level at which the services should be delivered, the legalities around it, the documentation that goes with it, and everything. But there may be some inspectors that are licensed contractors with 30-40 years of experience. They even understand the building codes. They even understand the condition of the property, how to read the condition of the property, and they also understand what the solutions will be. Property inspectors cannot quote the cost for the work, but they can refer you to sources or contractors that will be able to help you with this. And you can also reach out to your trusted realtor, your friends around, to get references for contractors. Of course, online sources are always there. Next, property inspections should be done in keeping with the timeline on the transaction. When you get into a transaction, typically the standard contingency period for property inspections in California is about 17 days. But we seldom write all the 17 days. We typically write between 5 and 7 days. And mind you, these 5 or 7 days are not working days. These are calendar days. So you get in contract on Wednesday, your 5 days are up on a Sunday. And most of the property inspectors do not work on weekends, guys. Well, they get weekends. So remember, the timelines are extremely tight, and it is very important that we stick to these timelines. Next, we typically start with property inspection and the pest control and structural inspection, which is the termite inspection when the structure is wooden. But after these two inspections, we typically get recommendations for further inspections. It could be foundation, it could be roof, it could be your chimney, or it could be a leaking plumbing. So a general inspector is supposed to inspect and give you recommendations for any further inspections that you might need to do. So remember that you might need to adjust your time for contingency removal based on follow-through inspection. Say you have a pool, that pool cannot be completely inspected by the property inspector. You will need to get a pool inspector for that. Next, a lot of property inspectors are extremely loaded. So definitely ask how many inspections the property inspector is doing. Whether they will take you for a tour after their inspection is completed. Whether you will be able to ask them questions afterwards. These are all very important considerations. I always advise my clients to be at the inspection at the property, because as much as we as agents know about the properties, the property inspectors are going to tell you something about the property. You are going to ultimately own the property, and because you own the property, it's very important that you be at the inspection, because the property inspector shows you the gas shut-off valve, the water shut-off valve, the earthquake shut-off valve, the sprinkler system where it is in the house, the fire sprinkler system, and all these. How else would you know about all these systems in detail if you do not attend the inspections? Sometimes realtors are present and sometimes realtors aren't, but they are not experts in the property inspection matter or in building codes. They can help you interpret what the property inspector is saying. It's not for the real estate agent to advise you one way or other. Well, when I'm representing my clients on a listing, I never advise them to skip inspections. In fact, we try to do the fullest possible inspection. We address each and every and all issues possible, and we also fix everything. It has been observed that whenever you have a completely fixed property, very clean disclosures, buyers have the least concern and pay the most for a very clean property. Anytime there is even a small issue sticking, it takes the buyer's confidence away from the transaction. Make sure that you are with the inspector when the property is being inspected. This is your chance to know your property in and out. And also for the sellers, it becomes imperative so that they know what is going to take to fix, actually take the property to the market. Always remember that whenever you are in a transaction, a $2.5 million transaction, and you see a total of $50,000 in problems. So let me first explain. Ideally, what you should do is you should not just read, you should of course read all the inspection reports and every detail that comes with it. The issue with that, as I explained to my clients, is you start feeling like, oh, this is my house and it has a crack in the foundation. It has leaking bathroom underfloor. There is mold in the property, and you start feeling nervous about all these issues. So rather than focusing on the issues, try to get estimates and sum those up. When you sum those up and you see a $50,000 number, $2 million transaction, that's about 2.1% of the total transaction cost. When you look at the issues as a cost, that will tell you, that will take your scare away from it. Just deal with the issues, get done with the expenses, and you will be ready to enjoy your property for a long time to come. By the way, when I am in transaction, I always tell my clients, when you get all inspections, everything clean, and disclosures, I love those transactions because you can estimate everything upfront and get to write a very clean offer, and there is very little shake or move during the transaction. I also say, I love those sloppy sellers. Do not order all inspections, who do not do all their repairs, and who fail to disclose items on their disclosures. What that does to me when I'm representing my clients, gives me the liberty to negotiate every issue, every penny that we find during our inspections as the buyer in the discovery process, or when we are in a contingency process, the inspections that we do as buyers agents, that's what helps us get our buyers the most money. That in mind. See you on my next one. Bye.